We are the only first world country that still does life without parole.
They will be resentencing Eric and Lyle Menendez, which is absolutely amazing.
I've seen multiple women for the same guy in the same visitation room, and I can't say anything because the guy is, 8 feet tall and can kill Mike. So, I can't go to his girl who I'm friends with and say, hey, I can't tell her because that could be Mike's head right there.
If Joseph was out here for Halloween, that I would make him get almost an identical costume to this, like, antenna and all, and he would be my little, I guess, my tall alien man.
He can
And
be
we would go
yeah.
out trick-or-treating together like this.
And your son's gonna be an astronaut.
He is. I wanted to be an astronaut at first with him, but he was like, no. I was
No.
like, all right.
You're gonna be the alien that I capture.
Yeah, that's why I'm the alien you found along the way.
I love it.
And what are you?
Randomly picked up this cute little alien, and if Joe were here, he'd be this tall alien. That'd be fun.
He took us home with him.
Come into my spaceship. Anyway, hi y'all. Welcome to our boo.
What are you?
Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
No, what are you?
Oh, what am I? Wait, I am. Oh, I thought you said boo. Sorry. And I'm like, boo. Anyway, I am since we're in space mode and I have a silver shirt on, I'm going to be a space cowgirl.
I love that.
Howdy. Name's Dolly.
Hat's a little big for your head, but
A little big, just a little. I like to I feel like that in Living Color sketch where the guys are like have the little hats like Men on Film or something. So, I'm your space cowgirl. Howdy, y'all.
I kind of thought you would come through in the nun costume.
I did the nun costume last night, and I didn't want to give it away. I wanted to do something a little different this time, and I figured since we're in a space vibe, I'll be either a disco cowgirl or a space cowgirl.
I got gloves and everything. I gotta put them on.
Yeah, girl, put them gloves on. Yes, that's hot. You should do it very sensual, Paige.
Yeah, well, we're not on Patreon, so.
I know.
Anyway.
All right, do your fingers. Yes. Hot. Love it. Well, guys, if you can't tell, we're in our costumes here. And it is Halloween time. It's almost Halloween. So we figured we'd dress up for you guys. So if you're on our audio, make sure you go to our Instas or check out YouTube and make sure you see us here on the video with our costumes on. I'm looking very Violet today. I should be called Violet instead because I'm a little Southern cowgirl from space. Anyway, and Paige has got her antennas, her gloves, and her alien dress on and her glitter. So she is sparkling and a shimmering over here. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Paige.
No, you said it.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome, guys. It's episode 32. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Wow. Okay.
32. Do you know kids count like this now? Do you know that?
I did this.
Me too.
Okay.
Kids count like this now.
They count backwards.
They start with their pinky.
That's so odd.
That's how they count. That's how they teach them to count now.
I'm going to do it backwards just for Brody. 32.
32.
32. Yeah. I can't believe it. We've done more pods than your age,
Oh my
Paige.
God, yay.
Yeah, the pod's now older than you.
It is.
Well, welcome, y'all. Welcome to our Halloween extravaganza here. And before we start our pod, we want to wish you guys a happy Halloween. And we love you so much. And before we start, we're gonna get started with our. I'm gonna do the sponsor as Violet. You ready? And our sponsor is BeyondBarsImaging.com. Come get your Halloween pictures or your fall or your Thanksgiving pictures or your holiday photos from Paige. She does an amazing job and she can blend photos, make any kind of background or outfits that you like. She is what we call a wonderful artistic genius when it comes to making your pictures look real and not so prisony. So, get at Beyond Bars Imaging on Instagram, on her Facebook, and don't forget about the Tic Tacs. Get your photos in, y'all.
Per.
And what was the one? Oh, you said the costumes. And she even does costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out so cute. My. All right. Sorry. But yeah, definitely check out Beyond Bars Imaging, y'all. She's rocking and rolling and taking photo requests. And no. All right, Paige, you ready for some what up with that? I'm ready to dance.
I am.
Okay, let me get my music. Here we go. All right, what up with that legislation? Paige, did you want to start us off with some tea that you found out?
Tea. Are you thinking of something else that I'm thinking of?
Wait, what?
What do you mean tea?
Oh, with the news.
Oh, well, it's public news now.
Well, no, it's not tea anymore, but it's
Yeah.
it's public. I'm sorry, the public
No.
tea.
Yes. So, for anyone who has not seen, the DA of Los Angeles County, Gascon, did a public, what is it? Just a
Press
public
conference.
statement, yeah, conference, where he announced that they will be resentencing Eric and Lyle Menendez, which is absolutely amazing and something
So
that should have happened a long time ago.
yes, can I just get a little
Yeah.
applause for that? All right, go
hmm
ahead. I'm sorry.
This is amazing news. It's on the heels of the documentary that they actually put together as a counterpart of Monsters. It's completely separate, and I definitely recommend you watch that because that actually has their input in it. Um, but a lot of people have been saying, like, what does this mean? But basically, what it means is that it sends them back to court to kind of have a judge look over their case again and decide what needs to be done. So, unfortunately, no. A lot of people were like, "Can't the DA just like pull him out of prison?" But that's not how it works. Judges do that. So, I think that when they do have this hearing, that they will probably get, of course, time served, and then everything will be looked at. All of the resentencing policies that were kind of looked over the first time, and it's amazing news for LWAP. It's amazing news for anyone. I always tell people that we should always be happy when we hear stories like this. I've seen kind of mixed reviews from prison wives. Some people that are kind of like, well, what about my husband? And I feel you on that, but this is always going to be good news.
Yeah.
Any LWAP leaving prison is amazing because you were given a sentence to stay in prison for life, and they wanted you to be there for life with no hope or no chance of getting out, and it's just amazing. And I think I've mentioned before that I am friends with Rebecca, who is Lyle's wife, and I'm so excited for her. I know that she's probably bombarded with messages. I sent her one the other day. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. But
And they have children together, correct?
no.
Oh,
Or
okay.
you're probably thinking of Eric, but
Okay.
I don't believe that you're thinking of her name is Talia. I don't think that she is his biological daughter, but I believe that he is like the father figure. Like she calls him dad, and I've seen
Okay.
pictures where she had visited him when she was like 4, like very little. So I'm sure that it's the same thing as being a father, but not biological.
Yeah. Oh, that's so amazing. I'm so happy that it's crazy how much documentaries or docuseries and shows and and TikTok is just going nuts for them.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
amazing how all that together can help promote change and then people jumping on board like Kim Kardashian and all that too.
Yep, they're advocates, especially some of the younger people who are getting more involved in prison reform were amazing, and a lot of them follow me on TikTok or on Instagram, and they are just awesome. And I hope that they really keep up with like the prison reform side of things, because they use their voice and they are a
Yeah.
part of why this is happening. A lot of people say, what's the point of advocacy and what really does it do? But I think this is kind of another instance that shows exactly what it does.
Yeah, and I didn't know this, but I found out I watched something on TV, or maybe it was on TikTok or Instagram. I can't remember. But the actor that played, I think Eric Menendez, the younger one, is that
Yeah.
correct? He's there. Okay. He actually wrote Lyle Menendez while he was in prison before he ever got, like when he was younger, before he even got the role or was even an actor at that point.
Yeah.
And he said he wrote him, but Lyle didn't write him back. But it was just interesting to think that he was like trying to be a pen pal to Lyle Menendez even
Yeah.
before he got onto Monsters or Cast or anything like that.
Wow, that's crazy. So he
Yeah.
must have obviously have an interest in true crime. If
Either
he,
true crime or criminal justice reform or just a good-hearted person that like something like that, I'm sure.
wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I keep seeing all these awesome things about even Eric's wife Tammy and all their whole family. They have a huge family, and it's really awesome because they've all been advocating for them
Yeah.
to be released. And I'm super excited for them because I think that it's very close down the
Yeah.
pipeline.
I'm very
We love
excited
it.
for
We love
them.
a happy ending over here,
I
guys.
do.
Even if it's
And
not you. Come on,
yeah.
we love it.
Well, and you have to learn to celebrate every little thing because changes like this could impact other cases. And you never know when somebody else's case is going to impact your person's case. So,
And a lot of the times, people, and this might just be because it might not be them, and I'm not saying that they have to, but a lot of the people who were incarcerated with LWAP, they come out and they get very involved in the LWAP
yeah.
reform setting and like joining like the National LWAP Council and like all of those awesome leadership opportunities. And who knows, maybe they'll want to do that. I don't, that they spent a lot of their life incarcerated, and I'm sure that there's still going to be a part of them that has a passion for helping the people that they've met along the way. So I'm excited to kind of see, how they get adjusted to life and then maybe open that door.
Yeah. I'm really, really excited for them and their families. And for what comes next as far as using their freedom to help others as well, hopefully.
They have a huge platform,
Yeah.
and I definitely hope that they can help.
And a lot of people are watching and listening. So,
Yeah.
speaking of LWAPs, Paige, do you want to tell everybody your awesome thing that you're
Oh,
doing for
yeah.
Drop LWAP? I'm so
Yeah.
excited for you.
Yeah. So, I don't know if, probably unless you're in California, you're not probably as familiar with the Drop LWAP Coalition. It is a coalition that was formed in California. Basically, the whole coalition is focused on dropping LWAP, ending LWAP in California. So it's, everything that I care about. I've always followed them and always wanted to get involved, but a lot of the things that I would like see or try to sign up for, I'd like literally go through the sign up and I would get to the part where it would be like county and you could only put in California and stuff, and I'm like, let me help. So I weaseled my way in, and now actually, guys, I am a part of the coalition and I'm helping on the media team,
Whoop,
which is
whoop. Hold
so
on.
exciting for me.
It is. I'm so
Um,
excited for you.
Yes, I am so excited. I'm going to be helping with half the full time social media on the Drop LWAP. So if you are not following Drop LWAP on Instagram, on Facebook, I think is the only two places that we are really at right now, do that. And I'm probably going to branch us out onto Twitter and TikTok and other
Yeah.
things. I just made my first graphic the other day for one of our posts about the Menendez brothers, and I'm so excited about that. And it's just awesome to be able to like get involved in something that like is what I do on my free time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm like, I love this shit. I live for this shit. So
Yeah. And the
I'm
graphics you
excited.
came up with last week were amazing.
Mm,
Yeah.
thank you.
Wait, I'm going to give you a big shout out. Hold on. because Paige is killing it, rocking it, and now she's like their social media graphic guru.
Lady head. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Me too.
So guys, follow Drop LWAP because
Yes.
listen, we're the only. I'll tell you this: we are the only first world country that still does life without parole.
Yep.
Most first world countries do not have it because it's considered inhumane, which it is. So this is a great program, especially in California, and hopefully, like that can branch out to more of a nationwide, like more organizations like Drop LWAP can happen.
Absolutely. I think that there should be a national one. And I mean, let's get rid of it all.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have something, especially coming up with this election, not to get political, but it is very important. Slavery, the 13th Amendment, is on the ballot in 2 states this November. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which ended slavery when it was ratified in 1865, states neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So basically, it's a loophole. It's an exception in the 13th Amendment that if you are incarcerated, you can still work and not be paid and be forced to work. So voters, if you're in California or Nevada, you have the opportunity to decide whether to remove this punishment exception for slavery and involuntary servitude from your state constitutions. So in California, this is Prop 6. So you want to vote yes on Prop 6 to remove it. In Nevada, this is going to be question 4. I'm licking my mic, sorry. You want to vote yes on question 4 if you live in Nevada on November 5th. And if you have early voting, go ahead and do it then. But I just want to, voting yes supports the repeal of allowing our incarcerated loved ones to be treated as slave labor, basically, in California and Nevada. So that's what I had for What Up With That. All right. So vote yes, y'all. Yes. You be saying no, 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 no. When it's really yes, 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 yes. Okay, sorry. Y'all, I've been under the weather and I've had so much Mucinex. I feel like my heart is going to jump out of my chest. So
Wow. I feel like
I'm a little hyper today. Sorry.
give me your energy.
Yeah. I'm in this space cowgirl cold, chest cold, Mucinex vibe here. All right. So, Paige, you wanted to get us talking about some scary topics.
I do. I have some fun, Halloween themed prison wife podcast, suspenseful, eerie situations that we have to deal with on a normal basis that are kind of chilling or spooky, and just for us to bring up and talk about on the pod. I have 10 different topics.
And we're going to work through them together. I don't know them at all, so this is on the fly.
Yes.
And we're going to help you guys navigate them. So bring it.
Alrighty.
I'm ready to get spooked.
This one is a hard one that takes a lot of time to master, but the disappearing act. The terror and helplessness feeling that you have when your loved one suddenly goes black and you don't hear from them. And, whether it's a lockdown or a move or they lost Wi-Fi, you don't know, but your brain is spiraling.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, you're figuring out in your head. You're gonna figure out whatever's going on, and whatever conclusion you come to, you're like, yeah, that's it.
And you're going to like every worst case scenario possible in like a matter of seconds. Like you're like Paige said, you're just spiraling to every worst case scenario.
That's you. That's you when you went to go visit Mike and he didn't come out, and you're like, well, he's done with me. You're like,
Yes.
what are you fucking talking about?
Yes. That was me. I was spiraling. I had to leave early because I was having a mental breakdown just from that. Yes.
It's so hard, but it's seriously all it is remembering that they are probably dying the same way you are on the inside, and as soon as they can reach out to you, they will.
Yeah.
And it's always that way. It doesn't matter, like, it just always is. Even when it feels like it might not be, that's always what it is. And it just sucks that they don't have control over it, but you just kind of got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, I remember like when I first, and I'm sure it was the same for you, like when I first started on this journey, that feeling came on quick. It came on really hard, and it was so hard to get out of it. And I
Mhm.
would just spiral. Now I get a little twinge now, but it's like I know he will get to me when he can. And I know it's usually when I'm like just from doing it for so long, I know that it's usually something really asinine, like the
Yeah.
power's down, the Wi-Fi's down. It's nothing super like, oh, he got in a fight. Oh,
Yeah.
shakedown crews back there, or something, or he got into an argument, or they're locking him down. Somebody had to get pepper sprayed or something. Like it's not as bad as we tend to jump to the like apocalypse,
Mhm.
and I've gotten better. I will say you definitely get better with that over the years
I
as
feel
you
like
do this.
I feel like it's as you become more confident in your relationship
Hmm.
and like knowing of your partner, and you're like, well, I know him, and
Yeah.
he wouldn't do XYZ that my brain is saying that he is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a matter of like just knowing that, he wants to call, like you said, he wants to call me just as much as I want to hear from him.
Mhm.
And, knowing Michael, he's going to call me whenever he gets first chance. So
Mhm.
I just have to kind of be patient and just learn to roll with it and distract myself doing something else to take my mind off of it.
Yep. Unknown transfers. Having your partner move to an unknown location without warning. That is never fun. Even when you do have warning, it's not fun because I don't know how it is in Louisiana, but like in California, a lot of the times they'll have like prisons that they stop at in the middle of the night, and they stop and they stay there. So it's like not only do I have to worry about like my husband moving to a new prison and like who he's going to be around, but like also this whole trip on the bus and then staying at a random prison. Who are you like, you know what I mean? Like he told me that they usually like put you with like a random person that's like there, and I'm like, that's horrifying. And like
Yeah.
the whole experience is scary, and it sucks because they don't want you. It's a safety precaution. They don't want you to know where they are at any point
Yes.
while they're transferring the incarcerated people. So it's like you're just kind of waiting for a
Yeah.
call to know what's going on.
Yeah, and here in Louisiana, you can put in for a transfer, but you don't know when it's going to happen, and you don't
Hmm.
know if it's going to happen. And then there are some times where they just come in the middle of the night and say, "Pack your shit up, let's go." And
Yeah.
you don't even know where you're going, and they don't announce anything, and obviously for security reasons, they also in Louisiana they disable your like tablets
Yeah.
and phone services while they're transporting you. So it's and then there's I don't know about California, but like there's like a couple day wait period that you have to wait for everything to be reestablished or reinstalled, and your visit lists have to transfer over. So there's a long period of time where you're not in communication with them.
California, you don't even get to take your tablet with you. So, like, when you leave a prison, you leave your tablet there. And then when you go to your new prison, you get a tablet whenever they give it to you, which is a while usually.
Oh, okay. See, we had to buy our tablets, so they belong to the incarcerated person. Since we had to buy it with our own money from JPay.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably how because California gave them all the incarcerated people tablets. So it's
For free?
technically theirs. Yeah.
Wow.
That was part of the tablet rollout.
Means I spend like hundreds of dollars on a fucking tablet from
That's
JPay.
crazy.
Sorry. I'm
That's,
bitter. No, I'm just kidding.
no, that's crazy. I mean, I didn't even know that like people had to pay for tablets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Families have to pay for tablets. And then when they come out with new ones, they want you to upgrade. And they'll give you like a $50 credit when you turn in your old tablet.
It's
But
giving iPhone.
yeah.
Like what? Like what the fuck? What do they also slow down the old ones when they roll out the new one?
Yeah, I bet they do. They sure probably do. You're right.
Oh my god. Um, the next one I have on here is prison riots. So, the fear of your loved one being at a prison for a riot, which is something that, obviously I've never had to deal with, but holy shit, I don't know. I, all of it in general is horrifying, but the way that my mind is so messed up, I would be insane if my
Yeah.
husband was somewhere where there was a riot. Oh my god, because they're not safe.
No, nobody's safe in a riot. Free people or incarcerated individuals, and
No.
and when they bring in like military and stuff like that to neutralize the threat, it could get very, very scary very, very quickly. And even if your loved one's not on the same particular building, dorm, yard,
Oh
whatever
yeah.
you want to call it, the whole place is shut down. Doesn't matter. Especially if it's a major, major prison riot. I feel like though, since I've been in the game here, there really hasn't been one. There's been like rumblings of a possible riot, like
Hmm.
like I remember when there was like supposed to be a nationwide prison riot or something a
I
couple
feel like I
years
remember
ago.
that.
Yeah, like it was before COVID, and nothing ever happened. I think, and people can disagree with me on this, but riots really don't do anything. They just make it worse for our loved ones. Let's be real. I know the prisoners have demands sometimes. I've watched like stuff on TV about it, and I've read about it in the Green Wall. Obviously, they had the Thanksgiving Day prison riot there in Salinas Valley. But it's just like it doesn't. It only makes the power of the government or the officials or the law enforcers that much more powerful.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, it doesn't really solve anything. To me, it doesn't solve anything.
It really just, I feel like, kind of gives them more of an end to bring the hammer down, which is usually what is being opposed.
Yeah.
So it just sucks because it's like gives them every reason to be like, see,
This
like
is yeah.
these aren't people.
They're animals. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're going to say.
Hmm.
But being a prison wife during a prison riot, I would have to say is probably one of the scariest fucking things. Sorry, I didn't mean to say fucking. Said it again. Um, it's one of the scariest things that we could probably ever go through because a lot's happening in a short amount of time and you don't know where your loved one is and they obviously are going to turn all communications off. Yeah, I would be apocalyptic Gigi for sure.
Oh my
If
god, I wouldn't be able to do anything.
yeah.
God, my heart goes out. If anyone listening has ever had their husband incarcerated while there was something like that going on, let us know because how did you get through that?
Yeah. Yeah, cuz my heart goes out to you because holy shit, cuz I mean I'm assuming it had to be weeks before they heard from their loved ones because
Hmm.
the amount of lockdown, shaking down each individual person, restoring the prison, moving people, transferring people, like all of that happens after the aftermath of a riot. No visitation. They probably took away visitation for security purposes. So, yeah, it's probably a prison wife's worst nightmare other than hearing that your loved one is sick or dying or something like that. It's more scary in the moment.
Yeah, and it's just like I mean it's chaos because it's like anything can go on there, and I don't know. I
Yeah.
wish I had any kind of good advice for that, but I wouldn't even know how I would keep myself sane.
No. I would have to take I'd have to take a lot of medication to get through it for
Hmm.
sure.
Um, Dealing with horror stories from other prison wives. So, dealing with other real accounts that prison wives have dealt with, like threats to their family or dealing with intimidating people that are connected to their partner's past, things like that. It's like kind of like, it stinks because a lot of the times I feel like the stories that we have for each other are helpful
Yeah.
or just us trying to help make other people aware. And then a lot of times they just freak us out because then we're like, okay, that's happening to me then, or that's going to happen to
Yeah.
my husband.
Yeah. Like the scary stuff. And then also there's the horrors. I don't know if this is on your list, but the other side of the horror stories is the relationship horror stories. Like when they get out, like how that to me is that's really scary too. Like when you have women telling you, well, he said one thing while he was in prison and then he got out and did something totally different. Or I just found out he's seeing two other women while he's seeing me or whatever. Like to me, those are my horror stories that I lived because you see that shit every day on Facebook, in all the prison wife groups. Like I just found out, and you see these couples who are beautiful taking visit pictures and then they get out and they just, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the other side of the horror stories too.
It is scary. I feel like a lot of that comes back to like just knowing your relationship with your significant other because I definitely I mean I feel like that's just like a normal thing all people have in the back of their head, but like I genuinely, and I've never felt like this in a relationship before, but I genuinely like I know that Joe is my person and I know that I'm his, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, perfect sense.
I have never been able to like say something like that about a relationship because I have been cheated on and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But also dealing with other prison wives can get like the I know the drama that other prison wives can bring can also impact your loved one. I mean,
Yeah.
Mike and another guy almost got into a fight on the yard because another prison wife was running her mouth and making things up and saying stuff, and got Mike kind of somewhat in trouble with this other guy. So, you know, there are a lot of horrors when it comes to making sure your loved one's safe and making sure you're safe as a prison wife and you're not being mistreated or taken advantage of, and then making sure they're safe, and like you said, the intimidation factor of it's a whole other world inside the penitentiary, and so there's so many rules, like you can't cross this line and that line because you don't know how the other people in the visiting room are going to react to you and what's going to happen when your loved one leaves if you say something wrong. So it's a lot of horrors there for sure.
It sucks because it's like, you know, uh,
Yeah, it's almost like when you first go to visit, you have to kind of just keep your head down and mind your own, like it's almost like you're in prison yourself, like you have to just kind of mind your own business. And I mean, granted, at Angola everybody's very friendly, so it's not like that, but there's been instances where I've seen multiple women for the same guy in the same visitation room, and I can't say anything because the guy is, 8 feet tall and can kill Mike. So I can't go to his girl who I'm friends with and say, hey, I can't tell her because, that could be Mike's head right there, which is scary.
because then she'd be like, well, Gigi told me
Yeah.
she saw.
Yeah.
I had a prison wife. Well, she didn't even tell me. Joe told me because she told her husband, and her husband told Joe. She was a friend of mine, and her husband. They're actually he's not incarcerated anymore. He's out now. He's free.
Oh,
It's really
yay.
awesome. But she was a prison wife that I had really gotten along with. Like when I had gone to visits, like I'd like seen her, and like we were Facebook friends. One time she went to visit her husband, and Joe was at visit with his aunt, and his aunt is on his dad's side of the family. They're Mexican, and she's younger, so like usually if they like they're his friends, his mom's side they're all white, so like that's what I feel like typically they're used to seeing. So it was this younger Latino woman. She's beautiful. His aunt is beautiful. And I guess he was at visit with her, and I almost said her name. The prison wife was at visit with her husband, and she was just like glaring Joe and this woman down, and just and until the husband was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "I don't know who that is, and you can tell me, or I'll find out myself." And she said that she was going to tell me about
Aw.
him being at visit, and then he knew that Joe was there with his aunt, so he was like, chill, that's his aunt. And then he had to go and tell Joe afterwards because it was so funny, and I was like, oh my god. And I was like, low key love her. I was
Yeah.
like, love
Good
her.
for her.
Yeah.
She's got balls for sure. She's got lady balls for sure.
Uh-huh.
Because
Uh-huh.
I would not. I'm not crossing no lines because I want to keep my husband alive if possible. So
um this one we always talk about on here, corruption and abuse stories. They
yeah.
are terrifying to deal with. There are so many cases where people who are incarcerated have faced, terrifying situations with guards or other incarcerated people. And there's also a chance that you can be exposed to that as a prison wife too sometimes at visits.
Hmm.
I mean, even in California, it's seriously not funny. There have been two just this past year attacks on women by their significant other within
Wow.
CDCR at visit.
Wow.
And that, like I don't.
Yeah. That's scary. Um,
Mhm.
I think also the abuse from the staff is also we see it. We constantly hear stories about that too. And then also, like you talked about in Arizona, the reason why they don't have family visits is because an incarcerated individual attacked his mother,
Yep.
correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Which I didn't
So,
even know that story.
yeah, they had family visits, and now that's the reason they don't. They got them taken away.
Mhm.
So it is very, very horrifying to hear these stories and know that you could be, you're walking into a facility that is housing people that have done really heinous crimes sometimes,
Mhm.
and you don't know, what you could see, you don't know what you could hear, you don't know, you know, what could happen, either to you or to someone else. So it is very, very scary as a prison wife. I will say that. Now, once you learn the ropes and you realize that it's, I don't know. So in Angola, it's not, I was like that in my first time going to Angola. I was terrified. I was scared shitless. I
Mhm.
couldn't even speak to anybody. But as you go, I mean, you realize, yes, things can happen. I've heard of fights happening in the visiting room,
Yep.
things like that, which is scary. But I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, I see fights at school. I see fights at the supermarket. You see fights at the gas station. I mean, sadly, our world is becoming a lot more violent. But I will say this. I mean, Mike has a story of abuse of power when he was he telling his story. I know this is his story to tell, but I'm going to tell just a little modified version. He was selling. He was very poor growing up, and he got hands on some type of explosive powder substance, and he was selling it. And the person he sold it to put it in. If it hit water, it would explode. And he put it in the toilet at school, and it blew up the toilet at school. So almost like a school prank, kind of, but not a prank. I think he didn't realize the kid was going to do that, but he got in trouble for selling it. So he got put in a juvenile program, military boot camp type program, where the guards in North Louisiana, and and you can research it. It's Tallulah, and it was shut down because of the amount of abuse on juveniles. He said that when he was 16, the guards would make them fight almost like gladiator style, put them in a pit and make them fight. And I asked him, I said, how many times did they make you do that? And he said about 30 to 35 times in a year. So,
Has that been like exposed?
yes, it's been
Does he get
exposed.
like? Was there like a lawsuit?
No, I don't think so. He said that it was worse. He in his camp because he was in the boot camp, and it was also a juvenile detention center as well. But he said he heard worse stories of like sexual assault and other things happening as well in the juvenile detention center area of the facility. But
Wow.
Sorry. But no, he didn't get anything from it. And I said, when I said, oh my God, I'm sorry that you had to, because you had no choice. Like you were forced.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I am so sorry that you had to go through that as a child. I mean, you were 16, 15, 16 years old. I mean, having to fight other guys because they said you need to do it. And you had to fight to the point where you yield or you get knocked the fuck out. And you don't yield because then you'd be a bizitch, It's scary. And I told him, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And he, Mike's just super positive on life. And he said, it's just part of my journey. It's made me who I am today. And I said, well, I mean, I get that, but it's still traumatic
Mm-hmm.
to have
Two
to
things
deal
can
with
be
that.
true at the same time.
Yeah.
That, I mean, not this isn't as bad, but that reminds me of like the corruption that happened in Pennsylvania with all the juvenile kids, where I don't know if you know about it. It was a few years ago when it was like discovered that all of these kids that were getting in trouble kept getting sent to this like one facility where this judge was getting like a payoff for every kid that they sent there. And it was like this huge like like because a lot of the kids just needed like they were like small little crimes, not like that you needed to go to like a detention center, and they kept just sending them there. You could probably Google it. It was a big thing,
Wow.
but it's sick. Like those are
Yeah.
juvenile children.
These are children we're talking about that it's almost like human trafficking in a
Yeah, it
sense that he's
is.
making money off of these children's lives. That's crazy.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that I mean
We went down trauma lane.
that's so sad that Mike had to go
I,
through that.
yeah.
Confronting the past is one of these bullet points. So just talking about the fear of learning about your partner's past and the things that they've gone through, mostly their crime, and basically just kind of settling with that and reconciling any
Yeah.
unturned rocks.
And I will say that has taken me a long time, a long time. And some part of me still, I don't know how you feel about Joe, but some part of me still is like the person before me. I can't even imagine when I sit with Mike at Visit, and I tell him this all the fucking time. I can't even picture you doing what you did.
When I lay next to him and I look at him and I'm like, you didn't know, but I know
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
It's so
I mean,
weird.
and at first it was so hard to accept.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't believe it. It was unfathomable to think that this man did this,
Because we
when he
didn't
was
know that version of them.
correct. And, seeing the beautiful man that he is today, I mean, he's nothing like the child he was when he committed this crime. And I say child, young adult. I mean, his brain was not fully
Not built.
developed, neither Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not like he went out and made the decision to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It was a situation, it was a shitty situation, making shitty decisions that snowballed into shitty things that happened. And the person I see today is Michael, to me, is one of the most beautiful people that I've ever met in my entire life. And I wouldn't do this just for anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why when my mom's like, why do you do this? I was like, because this is my person and he's a beautiful person. I wouldn't spend my time and my energy and my resources, and my heart and my soul pouring into somebody that wasn't worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just crazy to me that looking at Mike now and like I can't I try to when I picture it in my brain I start crying because it's like I can't even.
But I mean, that's like that time at family visit when I had that crying fest, just looking at Joe, being like, "Why did you do what you did? I'm so mad at you." Like, because I mean, I like, I know he did what he did, but it's so weird for me because that's just not the person that he is, and I think that's what kind of sometimes makes it all the more harder to like cope with because I'm like, I know that he has to pay for the crime that he committed, and I know that it's something that lives with him and will always be with him. And I can't even imagine, like, there's, he thinks about it every day. How could you
Yep.
not? And it's not my job to, hold him accountable for all of that. It's just my job to be that support system for him. You know what I mean? He's in prison. He's doing his
Yeah.
time, what he's supposed to be doing, and it's not my job to judge him.
Yeah. I call it this, it's like a stain on his soul. And it's there. And, he's living with that every day.
Hmm.
And, he's it doesn't make him not a human being and of deserving of love and support. So, it is hard to grapple with the past of what happened. Because it's there. It's going to be there. It's like the elephant in the room that never goes away,
Hmm.
unfortunately. But, all you can do is focus on the person that they are today versus the person that they were from the past.
Hmm. Because, I mean, hell, I think back on it, and the year that Joseph committed his crime, I was still in high school, and I was a really mean. I was a completely different person. So, like,
Hmm.
God, I can't imagine having to be held accountable for that person my whole
Yeah.
life, because that's not even, like, I've shed that skin. That's not me. But, no matter how many times Joseph grows and becomes better, he can't really shed that, and that's something that he lives with. And I think that kind of goes back to where he talks about, I committed my crime. What kind of honor would I be doing to the lives that I took if I didn't try to make a difference in other people's lives in the
Yep.
world, or with his substance abuse counseling and all of that. And I think that that is really all that he can do, and people are still going to judge him for it at the end of the day. But all he can rest easy knowing that he's doing
Yeah.
everything he can.
And the people that judge, for the most part, that judge very harshly are the people that don't know him as a
Hmm.
person. So they don't know what he's doing. So all they're seeing is the crime. They're not seeing him as a human being
Yep.
and all the work that he is doing to better himself and help others as well. So I love that you say it like that he's honoring the victims in that sense where I'm not going to sit here and just waste my life,
Hmm.
like I can do something good to help other people, because I did do something wrong, but here's the way I'm going to try to do. I can't change what happened, but I can do a good job living a good life
Yes.
helping others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he took two people's lives, and what, like, of course that's something that can't ever come back. So it's like, what can you do now that you're in this situation to honor them? And
Yeah.
that's really all you can do, because there are so many people that commit crimes and go into prison and commit more crimes, or just continue to do bad things because, who cares? They did what they did. They can't take it back, and that's just not the mindset he has. And I I'm proud of him for that, because it took him a long time to kind of understand that.
Yeah. Can we also talk about the horrors of the past life in the sense of exes?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I still, I know I put on a good front. And listen, I mean, I know it's in the past and I've won the prize. Thank you very much. But it still fucks with me.
Hmm. It's
Um,
it's weird to think of your loved one with someone else, no matter what, because you're like, that's mine. That's mine. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. And I still get in my feelings about it. I mean, more now so in a joking way, but because I think joking is my way of coping and dealing with all the feelings.
Hmm.
But the horrors of the past, come back up when when I see something on social media with their loved ones or their former loved ones, or you know, knowing what I know about Michael's ex, where she is, the fact that she's spying on me. I'm gonna put it out there. If you're on Patreon, you already know. So yeah, I think it's just it always comes up at some point or another. It never fucking goes away. Unfortunately, for me, it doesn't. I hold on to that shit. But it is a horror that we have to deal with, and I don't know, maybe joking about it or distracting yourself or telling yourself, you know what I do now? I kind of do this. I tell myself, I won. I won. I won. Irrelevant. You're irrelevant now. And I always tell, and it's always nice to have your partner reassure you and tell you, well, if she's not with me right now and she's not willing to talk to me now and she's saying she still loves me, because this was one of his exes from the street. She's saying she loves me still. Why isn't she JPaying me? Why isn't she sending me a letter? Why isn't she trying to get at me and let me know ask how I'm doing? Like, for 26 years, you've said nothing. So, when I get out, if you want to come running into my arms, they're not going to be open for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel bad, not bad maybe, but I feel for the women who are in the situations where their man was in a relationship obviously prior to their incarceration and they have a child, so you have to balance that act. I don't have many friends that are in that situation, but I can't imagine how difficult that is, trying to because I wonder, does the ex visit with the kids still? Because I know unfortunately a lot of women will cut men off from their children when they're incarcerated. I have my own opinions about that. I'll keep them to myself. But that's a whole nother aspect to this that I can't even imagine having to process and work through. But it's a reality for a lot of the women, even in our group.
yeah, and they have to, a lot of them. I know some of them, they have the baby mama has to be on the visitation list, has to
Yep.
be on the call list, and do those feelings resurface, like that, that's always in the
Yeah.
back of their mind.
It's like you have to be confident to know that what you have is what you have. But then it's like, especially I feel like if you're in one of those states where it's like you can't have those intimate. I think we had someone wrote on our group wall about this, about the jealousy feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, I could totally, if that was me, I would probably feel the same way, because it's like, it's weird to think about that. It's like you had that with them, but I didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird, and there's nothing you can do about it but be annoyed.
Very annoyed, very jealous.
That sucks.
So let me ask this, because I want to know if the family visit thing works with this. So if you have, let's say you have an ex who's baby mama and she brings the kids, they all can come for a family visit.
I do not think an ex would be allowed to come.
Okay, so you'd have to be married.
Yeah, I think that a grandma could bring
Okay.
a child or something like that, but
Or
I
an
don't.
aunt or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think that exes would be, because you have to have some kind of either be blood family or married or
Okay.
something like that. But
Yeah, I was just wondering how that works. If
that'd be
the
crazy.
ex-wife gets to come, I'm like, ooh,
Could you
I
imagine
don't like
people that
that.
have 3 different baby mamas? They're like,
Maybe just
I'm gonna have a family visit today with this one.
next week with that one, and then next
Yeah.
week with that one. Yeah.
Um, suspicious letters from other incarcerated people too. Sharing the creepiness of receiving strange or unsolicited letters from other incarcerated people. I have a very good friend who this has happened to.
Yes, I was gonna say.
And yep, and it was really messed up. She talked to a man who was incarcerated, and it didn't end well because this guy had a lot of his own issues. So what he did, knowing her past history of sexual abuse, especially when she was younger, he went out of his way to give photos of her and her address to multiple sex offenders on his unit, and they all wrote her. She looked them up, and each time it was a sex offender.
So he specifically chose.
Yes.
Wow, SOs.
Yes. And
That's up.
knowing her history, and that's why you just really have to be careful with some people. We say this all the time. Not everyone in prison is good. Not everyone out here is good. You know what I mean? You just need to use your better judgment. And sometimes these people will put faces over them, and you don't know who you're talking to, and then they turn into these crazy demonic people that do shit like that. And thankfully she was able to kind of take legal action, because he went above and beyond and did even
Yeah.
more than that. But a lot of the time you can't. And if you call like a prison, they'll be like, well, what do you want us to do? Like if you're sending pictures or, they don't care.
Yeah. And I'll say this, I've heard stories of guys pimping out
Yeah.
information for money.
Selling photos of girls.
Pictures,
Yep.
addresses,
Yep.
information, stuff like that. So just be careful that you don't, if you're one of those people like, oh, because this is what I read when I was about to write Michael, and I didn't do this until after, but I should have done this before. Is get a PO box. That
I
way,
almost did that. Do you know that?
yeah,
I almost did that.
yeah, I did it after, but not for Michael, but more for my parents because they didn't want them finding Michael's letters or reading Michael's letters once they found out. But they said to do that. That way, if you get mail, it's not to your home address and people don't have your home information.
Yep. Because they'll use that too.
Yeah,
This person I'm thinking of did that to her. He said, as soon as I'm out, I'm coming right to your address.
that's scary. That's scary shit.
People
So,
are, there are
yeah.
some not good people in the world.
Well, and I think it's good too. This is why the electronic correspondence is probably more, it's like safer than writing actual letters
For sure.
because there's no physical address, and you can block on JPay. And I don't know about y'all use what, Core Links or GTL?
GTL, but you can block.
Yeah.
They can see that though.
Yeah. So that's great. Know that you're blocked because you're fucking crazy. Sorry.
Period. Period.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Sorry.
Especially us.
Yeah.
The last one I have is the lasting effects of trauma, exploring the impact of that, prison has on them, let alone the trauma from their crime, let alone everything. If you went in there without any trauma, which is highly unlikely, there's no way in hell you're leaving without trauma. My husband, during our family visits, like if he thinks he hears keys, like he'll be like, stop, stop, stop.
Yep.
And I'm like, what? And like, there isn't anything. And he's like, no, like I hear like and like that's just them being like PTSD from hearing keys and them being like woken up and like having like lights shine. Like that's crazy. That's going to be with them forever.
Yeah. They're very sensitive to sounds, movements, things like that. I can only imagine Michael being in public in a big crowd and someone brushes his shoulder just walking next to him and not meaning to bump into him or brush him. He would probably have a physical reaction because he would, I just scratch his back and he gets a physical reaction because, they don't get touched very much. So the sounds though, like when you said with the keys, like he can hear the radios of the keys coming. He locks up and just stops whatever he's doing, and so those little things do affect them for the rest of their lives. Yeah.
And my husband still has nightmares about his crime.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing where people are like, blah, blah, blah. He lives with this. It's not like something that like
They
did
just
and
totally
never
forget
thought,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like he has amnesia.
he's not even the version of himself that did it. So like he's now this empathetic, completely feeling man who has to process and cope with what he did, which, I know that is what it is. He has to, but it doesn't make it any easier,
Yeah. And the 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 healing has to in order to heal, in order to grow as a person, you have to be able to work through all those feelings. And so obviously that's part of it. That's part of the trauma, is working through those feelings and the emotions that went in and what happened, and looking back at all the things, that the mistakes that were made and the lives that might have been lost. That weighs on their hearts, and they hold on to that. And doesn't matter if they're healing, they still hold on to it, sadly. So
we still are working through like multiple things, because I mean, Joe, for a lot of his like past childhood trauma, he's worked through a lot of it, but there's still certain parts that he hasn't like gotten to look into. But like it's crazy how like the brain and your mind will just like process things as normal, as a way of coping with them, because like some of the things that he would tell me that he like lived through as like a child and like experiences around him, like I'm like, that's not
Yeah.
normal. I'm like, that is not like, you know, like that. I can't imagine if lived through that one time as a child, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's crazy that it's like that. And that shit is for life. And that's one thing you take on as a prison wife. And you got to remember that, you know, my trauma is his trauma is my trauma.
Yeah, and I see trauma with Michael in a sense, and it's kind of funny. I'm not. I mean, I joke about it, but when he was growing up, he didn't. His family was extremely poor. They lived without water, electricity, and all that stuff. So he never had like he didn't know where the next meal was coming from. So when I see him at visit, when we get our food, because the food is to him is like
Everything.
5-star diamond food, he turns into a fucking caveman. And I've never seen someone eat a copious amount of food so quickly and to the point where he makes himself sick.
Yeah. Joe does that.
Because when he grew up, he didn't know where the next meal was coming from. So he doesn't get to like, he just inhales. Like, I'm just sitting here like, you good? Like just straight up like caveman, like chicken wings, burgers, like just in pizza, inhaling, tacos, everything. Just
Hell yeah.
so
Doesn't that just like you want to like go back in time and just like coddle their baby self? Even though I'm younger than we're both younger than our men, we're like
yeah.
babies. We're like, let us protect you.
Let me mommy you. Let me take care of you. Oh
As
my god.
I'm like 4 years younger than Joseph. I'm like, I'm here
Yeah,
to save you.
I'm here to save you and take care of you, and so you don't have to deal with all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So,
But that was the last one.
all right, I enjoyed that page. That was
Me too.
fun.
That was fun. We
Well,
love
I'm
that. If
glad
anyone else has suggestions for lists for future episodes, let us know because I like going through these.
Oh, I do. I love these. Like the myths. That was fun. This one's fun. I love it. All right. Well,
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Fred.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
All right. Florida Fred's calling. Got a little
up,
interruption there. It's time for questions, comments, and speaky pipes. And we have a speaky pipe today. I'm excited. I didn't even post for a speaky pipe,
Oh, I think
but we got
know
one.
who it is.
You do?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me go to our story here. All right. So we had a couple of questions. The first one is from our good friend Emma from Love
British
After
Queen.
Lockup. Huh?
The British Queen.
The British
Well,
Queen.
she doesn't like to be called as the British Queen anymore because she's a U.S. Queen now.
That's right. She wants to do a tell-all, so she said, "Let's do my tell-all." So that's something that might be happening in the future. So look out for us, Emma. We're coming. Dolphin Baby asked, "What is the New York State law reform?" I I know there's been a couple of law reforms proposed bills, but I don't know what actually went through. So Dolphin Baby, I would recommend that you try to locate a group specifically for
New York.
prison families, prison wives dealing with New York laws. Every state, I mean, Facebook is endless with the amount of groups of prison wife groups that there are out there. So I'm sure you can find something, or if anybody has any information or any guidance on groups in New York that could help her, we would love to get that to her, or comment below. And hopefully, Dolphin Baby, you can see on our YouTube some of the comments that people have.
Or you can, if you still are having a hard time, give me a message. I can try to reach out to a few people too.
Yeah. Inbox us, please. Slide into our DMs. I love just saying that. Sorry. All right. So the last question, is from Elle. She said the art crafting question. She has an art crafting question because Gigi mentioned items for sale at rodeo. Are either of your husbands artists, crafty, or created an or created items or created and sent you items. I can't read today. I'm sorry. So is Joe crafty?
He is not the most crafty man. He tells me that I'm the creative in our relationship, and I'm like, no. Um, he actually, we've been talking about this. He is working on trying to get some kind of paint and brushes because they can order that. They just can't order canvas for some weird
Yeah,
reason.
Michael can't have canvas either. They have to use certain paper.
Yeah, so he's going to put together paper, but he's going to order on his next package paints and stuff so we can paint together because he's not really a painter, but he's drawn a few things before when I've asked him to, and I'm like, they're so good and cute. Like, just keep doing it. But he's not a very big arts and crafts person.
Okay. Well, Michael is a big artist. He's a self-taught artist. He learned while he was incarcerated. And he draws, he paints. He's painted lots of things for me, beautiful things for me. He's even sold, when they were able to sell some paintings at rodeo at one point. But he is a really good, like he'll draw, he'll doodle and just make me beautiful things I am definitely not the artistic one. I do stick figures. So he is a beautifully talented artist, and he was even selling artwork at some point. He's kind of stopped painting, and I'm kind of upset. I told him he needs to get back into painting.
Yeah.
So I think when the weather it's hard to paint down here in the summer because it is so hot and miserable. So once it starts getting cooler, I think he's going to get back into it. But he does do art classes. They have 2 days a week that they do art classes there, and he helps. He's kind of like a teacher, mentor, helper. He helps others who are trying to learn or improve their technique in painting and drawing.
That's so fun.
Yeah. I'll have to put up some of his artwork that he sent me because
Yeah.
my house is covered with artwork
I want to
that
see.
Michael has done. Yeah.
Can he make me one?
Absolutely.
Michael, tell Michael.
Prison Mike, we need artwork,
Mike,
please. All right, that's all of our questions. I'm going to roll over to our speaky pipes. We got one speaky pipe. All right, here we go. Hopefully, you said you know this person?
I think I know.
All right, let me pull it up. Okay, she did leave her name. Her name is Marie
I'm
Reed.
wrong.
Okay, here we go.
My story's pretty simple, but keep doing what y'all are doing. As a Texas prison wife, my husband's been dealing with the system over 18 years. I deal with a mother-in-law that rather have her kids in prison, and I deal with a lot of hate from his family on his mama's side. As you know, I'm Twisted Podcast, and as a prison wife, not only is it hard, but baby, you gotta be a rare breed to walk in our shoes. Keep doing what y'all are doing. Love y'all.
Oh, love you, honeys.
Oh my God, I can't imagine having to deal with an unsupportive mother-in-law and family. God, you're
Yeah.
a warrior.
Yeah, to have it all on your back where people just don't care or just per se, well, he deserves to be where he is and I don't care anymore, or
it's better that they're there because then
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about taking care of them or like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's sad. There are a lot of moms of people incarcerated that I've kind of observed that attitude from. I'm sure that they have lived experiences to feel that way, but still it's, as a mother, I don't know what my son could do to make me abandon him ever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like anything. I don't know. I don't know what he could do. Like, I'm gonna always be there.
Oh.
I'm like, so please don't be a crazy man.
Yeah. Well, even like I was going to say, Michael's mom was his number one fan. I mean, she was at one point the only person that was really visiting him, for a long time. And I'm sorry that you're taking on this all on your own with no support from family, because I will say having family support definitely helps a lot. So
Like their
like
family?
Paige said, Huh?
Like their family.
Yeah, the incarcerated loved ones family, having their support is, it helps so much. So you doing it on your own, you are, like Paige said, a true warrior, Marie. And thank you for listening to the pod, and we love you and we're here for you. And I hope that one day your journey gets easier, because it can't be easy doing it all on your own.
No, it's a lot on the mental.
And she's 100% right. We are a rare breed of woman to do this and pick our tits up every day, no matter what kind of shit, DOC, CDCR, BOP, whatever program, facility thing you have going on, acronym.
Whatever acronym club.
Yeah, whatever acronym club you belong to. Whatever they spew at you, whatever craziness you have to deal with for the day. We're out here slaying and taking names and, fucking doing the damn thing. So, and we have a heart that is bigger than I don't know fucking what, because we take all that and we have to internalize all that. And then we have to love with all of our heart at the same time.
While being called desperate and pathetic and all of those other fun things.
Yeah, by baby back bitches. So taking it all and loving with all your heart is an amazing feat. And you're absolutely right. We are a rare breed of women. Woman, let me be your woman. Woman, woman, woman. Sorry. Gigi just, Violet just breaks out into song. Okay. Sorry. All right. Do you have any we didn't even do any mean tweets of the week. Do you have one, Paige? I didn't. We totally skipped over that. I'm an asshat.
I don't. I mean, I'm sure I do.
Okay.
But,
we'll get one for next week.
I think I.
Or you want
to? I think I actually can remember one that I had on
All right. Well, let me go ahead and do our intro to that, since we're out of order today. Tweet, bitch. What you got? Not you. I'm not calling you a bitch. I'm calling the mean person a bitch.
Someone replied to one of my tweets about life without parole, like with the stats and everything. And do you know what? This is what they said. This is what Henry Every 1695 said back to me on Twitter. Life without parole is ridiculous. Those people should just be executed. It took everything in me to not respond, but I know that people like that are rage baiters, and there's so many of them on Twitter, and that's what they want. They want you to fucking jump on them and fight them. So I almost did it, but I was like, I'm not giving this fucking loser what he wants. So I just reported it, and I said, hey Elon, I said he's threatening people with violence.
He wants to kill people.
Yeah, that's not cool, Elon. Aren't you against that?
Yeah. Well, you get 2, bitch.
And I didn't reply, so I know you're not happy.
Good job, Paige. Paige, I will say this. Paige is so much better at dealing with this than me, because, oh my God, if I had my way, I would be on a bender rage, and I'd probably hate myself. So Paige's level of healing is up here.
Sometimes.
And I'm very reactionary. And even yesterday, something really frustrated me, and I was raging, and and then I'm like, okay, it took a second. I'm like, okay, I'm calm now. I give you props, Paige. You handle stuff so gracefully, and I love that you say, like, I'm not giving it my energy.
Literally,
I'm like, but when I'm raging, I just want to give it all of my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to give it all of my energy.
I literally have to stop and think about what's pissing me off, and I'm like, yo, this is exactly what they want me. They want me to be pissed off, and I'm like, fuck you. I'm not letting that fucking.
Yeah. So much better at it than me.
I'm like, now pass the joint.
Yeah. Give me the gummy. Give me the gummy now. All right. Do you have any shout outs, Paige?
Shout out to any and everyone who advocated for the Menendez brothers.
Yes. Big shout out for winning.
Yes.
Shout out.
Winning and getting, helping to bring awareness to abuse and trauma from abuse, and the correct way to handle these types of situations, especially if you've been given LWAP. So
Yep. And honestly, I think that it's a good because there's all kinds of things coming out about them that like they helped with like the different like Norway projects. Like they started like a garden there and like all
oh
these other
wow.
things that no one even knew about. But like all
Yeah.
these things that are coming out and they're like, oh, they did this when they had LWAP. Like, yes,
Yeah.
people are still in there doing well, knowing that they could never get out. Yep.
Yeah, they like got degrees. Like I
Yep.
saw that on TikTok. Like they're doing all these programs. Like
It's really good. They would be, oh God, I just really hope they get into like advocacy and stuff because they'd be really good at it. And like
they
they're the
would.
perfect people for it.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm sure they have a lot of healing to do, so I won't.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they need to take care of themselves and their family first, and then hopefully take what their part of their journey and use it to help others. I think that's would be an amazing feat for them. And they'd be so, like you said, they'd be so good at it.
I feel like it's a really big thing that they could help with.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, it's that time for the meme of the week. Guess what?
You're gonna have to wait.
You're gonna have to wait. It's a spooky meme secret. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
it
what to call it.
has nothing to do with the fact that we didn't get one ready.
No, nothing at all.
No.
Anyway,
That's not why.
I start laughing and then I start coughing. All right. Well, we will have a meme for you. It might be a little spooky. It might be a little funny. I don't know. We'll find something.
Find out. We don't know either.
Yeah. Fuck around and find out, y'all. Fuck around and find out on Wednesday
FAFO.
today. Yeah. Check our Insta today. Just saying.
FAFO.
Wait, what?
FAFO.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Nice. All right, y'all. Well, we hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween. If you've made it this far, you can either drop a Halloween emoji. We haven't done that in a while.
Drop a alien.
Ooh, an alien or a cowboy, the little one with
Or
the cowboy.
the cowboy one.
Yeah,
both of
the
them.
cowboy hat. Both of them, whatever you feel like. And if you want to comment what you're going to be for Halloween, we'd love to see that.
Yeah.
So, all right, y'all. Another
We'll just
great.
send our pictures to Post.
Yeah.
You see that they were doing that? We'll have to
Oh, I didn't know that. What were they doing?
send it. Yeah.
Like a costume thing?
They do it every year, I think. That like
Ooh.
so you send them a picture of them in your costume, and then they like pick a
Okay.
few.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Yeah.
Violet's gonna pose for the camera. All right. Well, you guys, we love you. Every bit of y'all, our Wallers, Waller Squad, and we'll see you guys next week. We hope you have a great Halloween. Spooky, spooky skeletons, whatever it is. I don't know what the song is.
I just posted a TikTok with that sound.
I know that song is everywhere. I have it in my brain. And we'll see you guys next week. We love you so much. Have a great week.
Love you guys.
Besitos. Bye.
Don't forget to
Love
count like this,
you.
not like that. That's apparently it.
Count
We're not
backward.
cool. When the kids do never have I ever now, they're like,
Oh God, like it's too weird for me.
they're changing up everything.
I know. Math too. Can't do math
Oh,
anymore.
I don't even want to talk about that because I have so many horror stories and thoughts in my brain for when Birdie has to learn math because I already was bad at it and now they're changing shit. So
Yeah, I have parents that are like, I don't even know what they're doing. I can't help them.
Yep. No.
Like,
Joe's good at math.
yeah, but the way that they're teaching them with the blocks and all that stuff,
Hey, I refuse to even hear about that. Thank you.
okay, all right. Well, it's a sensitive subject. It's a sensitive subject. Okay, we love you guys. Bye.
Bye, friends.